Hey guys, coming at you today with a super easy and fun Valentine's Day dessert, some deliciously creamy keto chocolate fondue. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alycia. I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth, and now I own a keto gluten-free bakery. And I'm here to show you all the tips and tricks on how to make the best recipes possible. So if you enjoy my recipes, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me comments, and share with all your friends and family. It all helps me, my bakery, my channel grow and bring you new videos every Saturday. Today, some delicious chocolate fondue, which is super easy. It's basically just a ganache. But when you throw keto chocolate into the mix, it gets a little bit more complicated. And of course, it wouldn't be my channel if I didn't give you all the tips and tricks on making this so that you don't have a disaster on Valentine's Day. So yes, my videos are long, but it's so that you get a good result every time. I'm gonna do a bunch of different kinds of chocolate today and show you what happens with different brands, different kinds of chocolate, what may happen if you want to add in some add-ins to the fondue. So let's jump into this delicious fondue recipe. First off, the only ingredients in chocolate fondue is chocolate and heavy cream. Those are the only things you technically need to make a chocolate fondue. But you can add some flavorings into it, which I just raided my bar cabinet in the garage, which I never go to ever. But we had a little bit of Cointreau, which is an orange liqueur. So I'm going to be adding this into some of this ganache. I also have all different flavors. The only Chalk Zero chocolate I tend to like and use is the white chocolate. So we're gonna do a white chocolate. And then I have all three of the Bake Believe chocolates. I got dark, milk, and semi-sweet. So the thing with ganache is even just regular ganache, if you're making it with milk chocolate, it's gonna take a different amount of heavy cream compared to the semi-sweet or bittersweets or dark chocolates and stuff like that, because they all have different amounts of cocoa solids in the chips. So doing regular chocolate, you have to add different amounts of heavy cream. With keto chocolate, every keto chip is made with different ingredients from brand to brand. So it adds another variable to the ganache. I don't use Lily's chocolate chips anymore. They now contain isomalt, which is a sugar alcohol, and it's probably fine for some people and doesn't spike their blood sugar. I found out, unfortunately, that it spikes mine back when I figured it out that it was a sugar alcohol, and they use it to make sugar-free suckers, and I got super excited to make hard candy. And then someone mentioned that it spiked their blood sugars and their husbands, and I checked mine with my Keto Mojo after eating some of my peppermint candy, and it spiked mine too. So Lily's has definitely changed their ingredients. So the Bake Believe you can find at Walmart, Chalk Zero you can find online. A lot of people like their other chocolate chips. I just think they have like a kind of fruity flavor to them that I don't really enjoy as much. And these ones just taste like regular chocolate to me. I'm gonna start out all these with equal parts. By weight is equal parts heavy cream to chocolate. But with our keto chocolates, sometimes you have to adjust. We'll start with our milk chocolate. Milk chocolate tends to need less cream than a dark or semi-sweet. But if it's a little bit looser, it's not a big deal. The hard part is if it's too thick, then you can't dip stuff in the fondue if it's too thick. We'll start out with 2 ounces of milk chocolate. I don't want to have a ton of fondue because you're going to have double whatever you make. So if you're doing 2 ounces of chocolate, you're doing 2 ounces of cream, that's 4 ounces or about a half cup-ish of fondue, which is plenty. One too many. And we'll do equal parts of the heavy cream. And we'll see what the viscosity is of the fondue once everything's melted together. Now I don't have a small enough pot to heat up this cream. This is the smallest pot I have in the bakery. I'm definitely gonna be using the microwave, but it is easier to gauge the temperature and what you need by using a pot on the stove. You just want it kind of scalded. So there should be like a little film on top of the heavy cream and little bubbles and steam coming up, but it's a little bit harder to do in the microwave. I also tend to use plastic more than bowls because I can't put this in the microwave if for some reason the chocolate chips all don't melt. I took it a little bit too far. It was boiling kind of around the edges, but there is a film on top now. So you pour it over your chips, and I usually cover it to keep some of the heat in, just loosely cover it, and let it sit until all those chips are kind of melted. This small of an amount, only probably about 2 minutes. If you're doing 4 ounces or 8 ounces, probably 5 minutes to get all the chips loosey-goosey in there and able to get whisked up. While that's waiting, we'll get the dark chocolate. So you can compare the thickness difference in these. Do the exact same amount. Oop. I didn't put it away. I needed a bunch. Popping this in the microwave. Okay, I saw little bubbles starting to go and the film on top. Pour this over. Make sure all your chocolate chips are submerged. And this should be good to whisk up. I'd say that is a pretty good consistency for fondue, maybe a little bit on the tad runny side, but that is a pretty good kind of dippable consistency, and it'll get thicker as it cools also. So while we're waiting for that one, I'm gonna get out my fondue set that I bought. I got this one. It showed up in just a couple of days from Amazon, so if you're planning on a Valentine's Day, I'll have this link below if it's good. It's chintzy, I might say go a little bit higher end. It's something that I probably am not gonna use a ton, so I didn't go really crazy expensive. Packed well. Whoop. We got tea lights, cute little mugs where the tea light goes. So that is probably about 6 ounces-ish. Got to give these a wash, and then we can put some fondue in there just to hang out while we're making the rest of it. They're pretty thick, heavy ceramic mugs, so that's nice. See, as it cools, it gets a little bit thicker. Let's give the dark chocolate a mix, and you can see kind of the comparison. Dark chocolate will probably be quite a bit thicker. You might need to add a little bit more cream to get it dippable. Still pretty good. A little bit thicker. You see it's not really flowing as nice. But if you have something to keep it warm, you will easily be able to dip in there still. This one is much thinner, even though that is cooled down already. This isn't cooled down, and it's a much thicker ganache. So those are the differences between milk and dark. Again, both still usable for a fondue. But if you have different kinds of chocolate, keto chocolate and stuff like that, you may need to add a little bit more warmed heavy cream to make it flowy so that you can dip stuff in it. Let's make this dark chocolate one the orange one. So for this much, I would only add a half teaspoon of a liqueur or something like that. I'm gonna see if this seizes on me, and that'll show you another little lesson if it seizes. Looks like it's not gonna, but that'll also make it a little bit thinner. So now it's a little bit more runny. Oh, it smells good. There you go, that worked out good. So it didn't seize, but if it did, what you would need to do is just add a tiny splash of cream at a time, because chocolate can only take so much liquid before it seizes. And it just needs a tiny bit more to make it unseize. And you might need to warm it again, depending on how chilled your fondue or chocolate is. But that didn't seize, so. It's very, very faint orange. So actually I might do another half teaspoon. Any kind of flavored liqueur like this is gonna have some more carbs than say like a clear vodka or something like that, but it's Valentine's Day. Also, the reason it might not taste like orange to me is because this isn't sweet enough for me, and sweetness brings out other flavors. So it could be just that it's not sweet enough for me to taste the undernotes of the orange. So definitely start on the lower end and increase if you think you need it. I'm gonna get one of these roaring up, and maybe we'll put both of these together in one pot, and then we'll make the white chocolate one. I need a tea light. See if I can do this on my stove. There we go. Start out with the one that's thicker and more cooled down. Yeah, I won't put much more than 4 ounces in there. Yeah, we can add maybe a little bit more, but And maybe about 5 ounces for if you have this specific one. See if this gets it any warmer or if we have to warm up the fondue before we even put it in here. We'll see. Okay, it is heating it up slowly but surely, but I'd say if you're gonna do this, definitely just make the ganache right before you wanna serve your dessert and have your cup or whatever you're using warm already. Even if you don't have like a ceramic mug like this or anything, you can make any kind of ceramic dish warm by throwing it in the oven. Just keep it in the oven while you're making dinner or eating dinner. And then once you're done, you can make the fondue real quick, put it in the warm pot, have all your accoutrements ready to go and serve it like that. And it'll stay warm enough while you're eating the fondue for that short period of time. It's still pretty thick, but I keep just stirring it, and I took the temperature and it went up a couple degrees. Yep, now it's up to 85. So once we're ready to try it, I'm sure it'll be good to go. Okay, next, some Chalk Zero white chocolate chips. And they have a very different ingredient list than the Bake Believe. I'm not gonna do the semi-sweet, pretty much the same thing as these two. This is just chocolate liqueur, inulin, erythritol, cocoa butter, sunflower lecithin, vanilla, and stevia. This is cocoa butter, whole milk powder, soluble corn fiber, resistant dextrin, sunflower lecithin, monk fruit extract, and Madagascar vanilla beans. So still a pretty simple list, it's just there's no sugar alcohols in Chalk Zero products, which is kind of their main point. I'm gonna do the same amount of this, 56 grams, 2 ounces. I think maybe I'll put a little bit of raspberry extract in this one. Throw this in the microwave. Now, even before you get all this stuff going, you gotta think about things that you wanna dip in the fondue. So I would definitely plan ahead, and you can make a lot of my recipes and have them ready to go. I have a couple already, plus I bought some fresh strawberries. But if you saw last week's video, I mentioned this, gave a little spoiler alert that I'd be doing this. So I figured out a pound cake recipe that is easily chunked and frozen for this. Most of my keto baked goods can be frozen pretty easily. Let that sit for a couple minutes. Another thing I made was my shortbread cookie recipe, which I have this problem of making several recipes in one video, which this is what I did with that, was the Caramel Delights or Girl Scout cookies, Samoas. I did that with my new shortbread recipe. So I remade it, and I did a couple more tests on it for freezing and stuff like that. And I already have my oven preheated to 350, so I'm gonna bake off some shortbread cookies. And then I made my pretzels back before Christmas, my pretzel sticks, and they're still delicious. So I have some of those to add to this little fondue board we're making. So that recipe for my shortbread is really easy because you put it in a log. So you can do the log, slice it up, you can lay them flat and freeze them like that and then put them into a Ziploc bag. Or I even sliced up the log and then just loosely closed the plastic wrap around it, and they seemed to come apart perfectly fine while they were frozen. So these are already pulled apart. They were a little bit stuck together, but not bad at all. And you want to bake them from cold. I put them on a sheet tray, let them defrost most of the way, and then threw them into the refrigerator before I baked them. So I'm just gonna let these thaw out. And a lot of my cookie dough is the same way. You can freeze them, thaw them overnight in the refrigerator, bake them from the refrigerator, or you can even bake them from frozen. The times and stuff like that may vary. If you're baking from frozen, I would always minus the oven temperature a little bit just because they're gonna take longer and you don't want them to get too brown around the edges before the middle's done. But pretty much all my cookie dough you can make and freeze and bake later. Let's give this a stir. Oh, I need to, whoa, don't forget to stir your fondue. Let's see what the temperature is now. It's definitely more liquidy. Yeah, so it's up to 100 degrees. So not too bad with that candle in there. Definitely don't forget to stir it though, because it will get a film on top, and cooling and heating can make it seize and stuff like that. So hopefully there's not too much water on here. Besides adding like extracts and stuff like that, a lot of times if you accidentally add splash water in it or something like that, you might get a seize on your chocolate. White chocolate is very different animal than regular chocolate. This looks like it actually didn't melt all the way, even though it was sitting here for 5 minutes. And that heavy cream was boiling. So I might need to put this into the glass container and heat it up some more. It looks like there's chunks in it. Still at 99, so maybe the rest of the chips will melt. But as you can see, it's pretty like runny, so we might need to add more chips in it just to get it kind of thickened a little bit more, but we'll see. White chocolate tends to, I think, need a higher melting point too. I'm gonna put this in the microwave guy here. We definitely don't want chunkies in our thing. If you're ever heating up keto chocolate, keto ganache, anything, always 50% power. And if it's already melted like this, 10-second intervals, no longer, because you don't want to overheat it because you can burn it and you can make it seize if you get it too hot. Oh no! Now I got chocolate on my foot. It's really, really, really liquidy. It's almost just like heavy cream. So I might need to add some more chocolate chips to that to make it dippable and actually coat the whatever we're dipping in there. I'm gonna add 1 ounce to it. Let that sit for a minute. We might need to pop it back in the microwave again. I need to clean up my chocolate mess. These laser thermometers really come in handy when I'm working with chocolate, especially in the keto world, because keto stuff can be so finicky. Seems to be a nice thickness now. It's not the prettiest color for fondue. Well, it's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna try to add a 1/2 teaspoon. I might start with a 1/4 teaspoon of raspberry extract because raspberry can sometimes taste a little medicinal, so I don't like to use a lot. Always start with less. You can always add more, and it's a lot harder to take away. That's nice. Some nice consistency. If you guys have a raspberry extract you like, let me know down in the comments. 1/4 teaspoon was definitely enough. Okay, let's light up our other fondue. So you need an extra ounce of chocolate for Chalk Zero's white chocolate chips. And I'll link up there my chocolate review video. It goes into great detail with a bunch of Chalk Zero, a bunch of Bake Believe, and a bunch of Lily's chocolate, and how to make ganache that's set enough for like truffles and stuff like that. But you'll see the consistency before they're set of all the different chocolates. So you'll get an idea. If I didn't use the one that you have here, it might be in that video. So if you're making the fondue, definitely have all your accoutrements ready before you even make the fondue, because the fondue literally takes 2 seconds to make. But we got to get our shortbread baked and get all the rest of our stuff ready to go to try this delicious chocolate fondue. Okay, I'm about to pull out my shortbread cookies. I did them a little bit darker than I did in the video for the Samoas. They'll be a little bit more stiff this way and a little bit less delicate to dip in the chocolate. But I already have all my stuff set up here, so let's give this keto chocolate fondue a taste. I blew out the candles because I saw a bubble come up from the chocolate. So it was boiling. That's how hot these things get. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I did have it going for quite a long time, but I did not want the chocolate burning on the bottom, so keep an eye on that. We'll do strawberry. Looks delicious. Just because you're on keto doesn't mean you can't enjoy something like the melting pot. Yum. Delicious. Say anything with chocolate for Valentine's Day is delicious. And this is super easy to put together. Use the pretzel to stir the chocolate. Why didn't I think of that? Salty and sweet chocolate. Oh yeah. Do a white chocolate, a little bit of raspberry in there. Delicious. Yummy. Delicious. I'm not a big pound cake person. Even vanilla cake I'm not a big fan of. Dipping in chocolate, that's for me. And last but not least, my shortbread cookie. They're not completely hard and crispy until they're cooled completely. So probably use one that's already done. Shortbread is just soft and delicate, not super sweet, crispy, and just kind of melts in your mouth. Delicious with some fondue, chocolate fondue. Really good with the white chocolate and raspberry. Yum. It is delicious. Something I just thought of, we can make this raspberry or berry. I think this is burning on the bottom. I see little brown flecks. Definitely be careful with your white chocolate. But I forgot, I have this beet powder and it's Acai Berry Pomegranate. See if we add this to that. Tiny bit in there, then it'd be pink. And it's just colored from beetroot. Nice. So now you have a pomegranate white chocolate. Duh, why didn't I think of that sooner? Let's try it with the cookie. Ooh. And this is 4 carbs for a whole scoop. And we only use like 1/3 of a scoop or 1/4 of a scoop. So that only adds a carb. I didn't talk carb count in this, but it all depends on the chocolate you use and whatever you're dipping, stuff like that. But if you have a really keto dinner, steak, no carbs, lobster, no carbs, a hollandaise sauce with maybe a carb and some asparagus and bacon, and definitely indulge in your Valentine's Day dessert. And super easy to put together. You can definitely just do berries or store-bought keto cookies. My angel food cake would be delicious with this too. Lots of options. I'll try to put all the videos down below of things that I think would be good to dip in this fondue. But this is delicious and easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very simple Valentine's Day dessert recipe. Let me know what your plans are for Valentine's Day. I usually do a ribeye and maybe some shrimp, stuff like that. And then always have to have something chocolate for dessert. Don't forget to check out my Amazon shop page. The link will be down in the description box below, including this little fondue set, which is pretty cute and it wasn't super expensive, along with the blog post to the full recipe. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always I'll be back with many more keto, low carb, healthy meals, desserts, and snack recipes. Bye guys, happy keto baking, fondue making, and happy Valentine's Day!